Of all the heartwarming moments in the world, there's nothing that compares to soldiers returning back home and surprising their family members. So get ready to shed a few tears because these next few clips are going to make you weep. Number 1. Marine surprises his best friend. This is Devin Barker, who was expecting a birthday surprise and was expecting it in the truck. What he doesn't know is that his gift is his best friend, Brady Norton, coming back from the check post. The two best friends had not seen each other for more than 2 years. You know what they say, the friends you make while serving are there for life. Number 2. Soldier surprises his girlfriend at a game. This soldier had been serving in Kuwait for almost a year, and when he finally came to the US, he did so without telling anyone. As soon as he landed, he decided to surprise his girlfriend, a Philadelphia 76 ER dancer. He prepared a fake skit and sent her a sweet message through the venue's screen. As the girlfriend was watching, he was grabbed by the mascot and brought into the stadium, which sent her into a delightful shock. The couple's reaction is as heartwarming as it gets. Number 3. Soldier surprises his sister at school. Callie and Chase Vining had been that brother-sister duo that was inseparable growing up. But then, Chase had to go away to Eastern Europe to serve in the Army National Guard. He was gone for almost a year until he finally came back home. He was planning to surprise his mom, but she found out when she read texts from his dad's phone. So he decided to surprise Kaylee instead by showing up unannounced to her class where she was teaching. Kaylee was so shocked to see him. It was priceless. Number 4. Soldier surprises his son during Taekwondo. The next surprise is even more emotional. This time, a dad, Staff Sergeant Rob Sestanino, surprised his 9-year-old son, Luca, while he was doing Taekwondo training. The dad played a prank and switched places with the trainer. Luca didn't know what was going on because he was blindfolded. The kid doesn't recognize his dad at first, but then his dad calls him by a nickname that he used to call him when he was younger, Shib, and that's when the boy finally knows who it is. Luca rushes to take off his blindfold, and they hug each other super tight. They hadn't seen each other for almost a year. It was so sweet. Number 5. Soldier attends sister's formal dance as a surprise. This soldier from Central New York decided to surprise his little sister. He had just come back from deployment and he wanted to attend her 8th grade dance. So he went straight to the party in his uniform. The school was cool with it and they made it a sweet moment for the siblings. The sister was totally stunned and happy when she saw her brother and the siblings dance together to the song Let It Go from Frozen. Number 6. Soldier gives his drive wife a surprise. This soldier just came back from his deployment and wanted to surprise his wife, who was at the hospital. So he teamed up with his wife's friend and pretended to be a patient. He sat at a table in the hospital, waiting for his wife with a nervous and excited smile on his face. Finally, his wife arrived, and you can just see how she melts as soon as she realized it's her husband. Number 7. Soldier surprises her daughter at school with flowers. What's a better April Fool's Day prank than getting to meet your mother who has been deployed? That's exactly what happened to a girl named Navia. Her mom had been away for 7 months, and Navia thought she was talking to a staff member for a fake interview at school. She didn't know the mother was waiting behind the door when she was talking about how she expected her mother to come in the next few days. Catching the perfect moment, the mother opens the door with a bouquet of red flowers to greet the daughter. They hugged and cried, and it was the best April Fool's Day prank ever. Number 8. Son walks up to his single father to surprise him. In another sweet parent-child interaction, we have Josh, who went into the army 6 months ago. He decided to creep up on his father by giving him a small tap on his shoulder. The dad is totally shocked, and it takes him a few seconds to realize what's happening. But then he leaps onto his son, hugs him tightly, and starts crying tears of joy because they're finally together again. Number 9. Marine surprises his sister on Veterans Day. On Veterans Day, this Marine from Barberton surprised his sister while she was taking a picture with her basketball team. When the picture was about to be taken, he snuck up behind her and surprised her. The sister was so shocked and happy to see her brother that she dropped the basketball and hugged him tightly. Number 10. Wedding Day surprise. How about a surprise visit from a loved one on your wedding day? The groom received a cute surprise from his cousin, who recently returned from South Korea. Then the groom hugs his cousin and cries tears of joy. And the best part? The bride was the one who planned the whole thing, and she was glowing with love as she watched the wholesome moment take place. I bet even more happy tears were shed during the ceremony. Number 11. A father-son reunion. The dad, Matthew Peters, had been away from his family for more than a year because of deployment. But then he devised a plan with his wife and the school staff to surprise his son in the best way possible. The kid was just hanging out in the cafeteria, eating his lunch, totally clueless. But then, out of nowhere, he feels a tap on his shoulder. He turns around and boom, it's his dad, grinning ear to ear. The kid is so shocked that he jumps up, gives his dad the biggest hug ever, and starts crying. There's probably no joy bigger than this. Number 12. A soldier pulls a traffic stop to surprise his son. This one will bring you to tears. With the help of a police officer, a soldier asks to pull a fake traffic stop on his wife's car. He slowly approaches the car where his son sits in the back seat and waves up to him. At first, the young boy doesn't realize it's his dad and just waves politely. But when he recognizes him, he climbs out of the window and leaps into his father's arms, refusing to let go. You can just see the flood of emotions the kid is going through. It's honestly enough to make even the toughest of us shed a tear. Number 13. Soldier comes to sister's class as a surprise. Lauren Logan was away from his family for more than 10 months, and being the good brother that he was, he wanted to make the moment he returned special for his younger sister. To make it extra special, he decided to surprise the sister in her 3rd grade class. He sneaks up behind her, gives her a tap on the shoulder, then jumps back and waits for her to notice. Logan probably did not expect her to burst into tears and cling to him for what must have felt like an eternity. Number 14. Soldier hijacks the class for a surprise. Next up is this senior airman named Taylor, who's been serving in Afghanistan and Qatar for the past 8 months. But now he's finally back home in Pennsylvania, and he's got a surprise for his sister, who's a junior in high school. He decides to sneak up on her in class and gives her a side hug instead of the usual shoulder tap. She jumps at first, but then she realizes who it is and gives him a huge hug. Number 15. Soldier surprises his sister at the bus stop. The school bus finally stopped at the usual bus stop, but this girl had no clue who was waiting for her. But as she makes her way down the bus stairs, she meets the most comforting sight. Her dear brother standing there with arms wide open to greet her. And boy, does she cry her heart out after seeing him after so many months of being apart. Number 16. Soldier surprises brother at his football game. While getting started for the game, the basketball player, Matt Farrell, receives a sweet message from his brother in the army. He gets emotional hearing the small video message, but does not know that his brother is at the same stadium as him. Partnered up with the football team, the soldier enters the field and rushes straight to his brother. The player has his mouth open in shock as he grabs onto his brother for a hug. The family joins in for a joyful reunion after months. Number 17. Soldier surprises his sisters at the school cafeteria. U.S. Army National Guardsman Sergeant Bradley Comar was back for the holidays, and he's got a surprise in store for his sisters. He's teamed up with the school staff to get the kids to send a message to the military as a school project. As his sisters are in the middle of an interview, Comar sneaks up behind them and gives a simple hello. The sisters are so surprised that they don't know what to do, but once they realize who it is, they give their brother a huge hug. What a sweet moment. Number 18. Mom gets a surprise during the school assembly. This Long Island teacher was calling out names in the school assembly. Her 20-year-old son, Eric Benzing, had secretly asked the school staff to put his name on the list. When the mother spots the familiar name, she calls it out hesitantly and is greeted with a sweet surprise the very next second. Benzing walks in on the stage to greet his mother, and they both share a tearful but long embrace after being separated for months. Number 19. Soldier arrives as a surprise to her mother. In a wholesome mother-daughter interaction, this soldier knocks on the door with the help of a friend to surprise her mother. She stands behind the door while her friends fool the mother with the arrival of a package. As soon as the mother opens the door, the daughter walks up slowly to surprise her. The mother yells in surprise and is embraced by a long hug from her daughter. Number 20. A sweet family reunion at the football game. At the football game, the family looks at the screen as their husband sends a sweet voice message to them. The family is already in tears as they hear the voice of their beloved, who is hundreds of miles away from them. But they are in for an even more emotional gift when the soldier enters the field to greet them. Shocked to their cores, the family runs at full speed to greet their loved one as the whole stadium gives them applause. Number 21. Mom surprises her daughter at school. While the class is deeply engaged in completing their Mother's Day project for school, Army soldier Hannah Henning is getting prepared for a surprise meetup with her daughter, Charlie. The mother had been in Iraq for the past 9 months and was now nervous about meeting her daughter. But when Hannah does walk into the classroom, she is met with a delightful and happy hug from her daughter, who cries after being reunited with her mommy. Number 22. Dad surprises his daughter on career day. Lydia was talking about her father being a soldier on the career day presentation, and at that very moment, the dad, U.S. Army Sergeant Chris Thompson, walks in from behind her into the classroom, listening proudly at how her daughter looks up to him. He calls out to her, but the young girl ignores it at first. But when the moment dawns on who's standing behind, she screams out and rushes in for a warm hug with her father. Number 23. Dad gives a surprise visit on graduation. The young man is ready for his graduation, wearing a cape and gown with his degree in his hands, when he gets a cute surprise visit from his father. First, he walks away in shock, unable to grasp the fact that his dad is here at his graduation. But then, he comes to his senses and goes on to give him a handshake and a hug. Number 24. Soldier pops up for a family photo. The young soldier's family is all set to take the family photo when the photographer reminds them of a missing person. Once they call out Nate, he enters and shocks the whole family to their cores. They all jump excitedly and get up to meet him one by one. Number 25. Brothers give their parents a surprise. This time, a family picture was being taken during the 4th of July parade, but the parents didn't know that their sons were in the parade or even in town. As the two sons, one officer in the U.S. Army and the other in the U.S. Navy, walked up to the porch and faced them, the parents were shocked. They gasped, but immediately pulled each of them into a long hug, seeing them after months. Number 26. Sailor son photobombs the family picture. This time, a sailor stands behind the family on a Christmas Day lunch and photobombs the picture. Everyone except the mother knows that the young sailor is back home. When the sister shows the family photo with the young man standing behind, the mother compliments it, thinking it's an advanced Photoshop app adding her son to the picture. Even after 3 tries, she does not realize that her son is standing right behind her. Then, the sailor decides to show his face by putting himself nearer to them. That is when the mother notices him and pulls him in for a long but needed hug. Number 27. Fiance surprises by showing up a week earlier. This young man was in Japan for a whole year. Now that he is back after his deployment, he brings a huge bouquet of red flowers to meet his fiancée. Busy in her award ceremony, she is not familiar that her fiancé is home a week early. But as soon as her name is called to the stage, the soldier walks in nervously, but is immediately met with a big and wholesome hug from his fiancée. They keep hugging each other for a long time. After all, there's an end to a long-distance relationship, and they can spend some quality time together. Number 28. Soldier gives a Christmas surprise to his mother. The soldier is seated in the chair, disguised as Santa Claus to surprise his mother, who is unaware of his presence. The hospital staff gives the nurse, the soldier's mother, a postcard from her son. It's a picture of him with a sentimental message that sends her into a stream of tears. As she is busy showing the picture to her colleagues, the soldier takes off his disguise and waits patiently until his mother turns. Soon, the mother turns around, and both of them hug each other with tears streaming down their faces. Number 29. Father makes a special visit to the school assembly. Jason Webb was away from his daughter for 2 years. That's a pretty long separation, but it was put to an end in a special way by his surprise visit at the school assembly of her daughter. The daughter has no idea when she climbs on stage to read an introduction for a special guest visit on Veterans Day. As she starts reading, the father makes an entrance and stands quietly beside the chairs. Looking up and recognizing the familiar face, she cries out tears of joy and goes on for the much-needed hug with her dad. Number 30. Surprise in the car. The father of the young Marine is in on the surprise as he takes a photo with his family. Suddenly, popping up in the picture, the young Marine sends waves of shock to the whole family. After their initial moment of shock, they don't waste a moment hugging him. Number 31. Brother makes a surprise visit on his sister's birthday. The young brother in the Air Force decided to dress up as a gorilla and make a surprise visit to his sister's birthday party. The gorilla makes an entrance, but the sister is oblivious to the person in the costume. The DJ then asks the crowd to settle down and asks the sister to cover her eyes for a birthday surprise. As soon as she opens her eyes, she is met with her brother, whom she hadn't met for months. They go in for a hug while the sister cries with tears of joy. Number 32. Brother waits at school to surprise his sister. This soldier is standing at the school's door to receive his sister after the bell rings for the day off. Coming along with her friends, the girl does not notice her brother dressed in the Navy sailor uniform. The brother walks up to her and pulls her in a hug as she cries in his arms, happy about the surprise. Number 33. Sergeant surprises his little boy. As soon as the school play starts, he goes up to the stage and waits eagerly for his son to spot him. When his son does look up, he cannot believe what his eyes are seeing and stands to process if it is real. Seeing that his wishes have come true, he walks up to his father and they enjoy the sweetest embrace after a long time. Number 34. Marine joins the family dinner as a surprise. This young Marine, Tanner Watson, made plans with his brother to surprise their mother after he told her he couldn't make it home for quite some time. They made a reservation for dinner at a restaurant, and the Marine drove to get a delightful reaction out of his mother. As soon as the soldier walked inside the doors, he came to pull his mother into a warm embrace. But the mother did not realize it was her son, got creeped out and pushed him away. When she turns around to see who invaded her personal space, she realizes that it is her son, and it leaves her unable to move for a few seconds as she cries in shock. Finally, she pulled her son in for a hug. Number 35. Captain of the Army greets daughter at the stadium. This army captain was away from her daughter for a long time because of her deployment in Afghanistan. She eagerly waits at the corner of the stadium, unable to contain her excitement about meeting her daughter. Once the screen is done showing a sweet message for the daughter, she turns around to find her mother standing there. They both rush towards each other in a hurry, unable to wait for even a moment. The mother pulls her arms around her daughter and does not let go. How sweet. Number 36. Soldier serves his mother drinks as a surprise. Next up is yet another soldier who came up with a unique way to surprise his mother. For the surprise visit, he asks the restaurant for help and stays behind the curtains. He gets the drink order for his mother and serves her at the table. The mother gasps in surprise at having her son back and doesn't waste a moment to pull him into a strong hug. Number 37. Brother attends the graduation ceremony of his sister. Christopher Chrysler planned a sweet surprise for his sister on her graduation ceremony to make her special day even better. He sits patiently in the seats, ducking behind the tens of heads, waiting for her name to be called. As soon as she goes to the stage, the brother walks up as the school staff makes a special announcement for her. The two wrap their arms around each other in a hug after being separated for a long time. Number 38. Dad surprises his son in class. Tim Gordon was away from his family for a whole year, but he makes a surprise visit to his son's school to put an end to that long separation in a heartwarming way. Teaming up with the school staff, the soldier came up with a plan to walk into the class and greet his son. The little guy remains in shock for a few seconds, but then runs up to his father for a hug. He cries in shock as he finally meets with his father. That's all on the emotional surprises that must have sent you into tears too. What did you think of these surprise visits? Let us know in the comments which one was your favorite. While you are at it, make sure to hit the like button and press subscribe.